One way of reducing calories is to stop counting them. Instead, cook with foods high in fiber and remarkably filling, like my Southern-style greens and beans. I'm David Jackson. 40 years ago, I was cooking in swanky hotels and winning awards from the American Culinary Federation. 30 years ago, I hosted a nutrition-conscious cooking series for the Hospital Satellite Network. 10 years ago, despite half a century of good eating habits, I found out that I wasn't immortal. And I'm not alone. Can doctors' orders to moderate salt, fat, and refined carbs share our plates with mouth-watering gourmet recipes? Yes, they can. After sorting and rinsing 2 cups of dried navy beans, place them in a large bowl or pot and cover thoroughly with cold water. Then cover and let stand overnight. This little white legume is the highest of all beans in fiber content, so the longer they pre-soak and cook, the more tender and creamy they become. For the cooking process, begin with 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a medium to large pot with a heavy bottom. Finally, dice 2 strips of lean, nitrite-free bacon and start them sizzling. This dish will serve 6 to 8 persons, so the amount of pork fat in one serving is nominal and the flavor is worth it. Then dice 1 small onion and sauté with the bacon. Also mince 4 or 5 cloves of garlic and add them to the pan. Sauté over medium heat until golden brown and the pan develops a flavorful fond. Next, in go the soaked beans, followed quickly by enough no-fat, no-salt chicken stock to cover those beans. Also put in a pinch or 2 of dry red chili flake for a tingle of heat. A modest 4-finger pinch of salt, that's about half a teaspoon, and several grinds of fresh black pepper. Toss in 2 or 3 bay leaves, a couple of fresh sage leaves, and 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary. Give it all a stir, then turn the heat down to low and slow, checking it occasionally in case more chicken stock is required. Beans keep absorbing liquid for much of their cooking time, especially when they're covered. All right, we're going to let those beans simmer away for about 2 hours, and let's tackle this beautiful pile of greens. For this dish, I favor a medley of kale, collards, turnip, and mustard greens in equal portions. In a large, deep-sided pan, start with a 2 tablespoon splash of olive oil. Then 1 strip of finely diced bacon, preferably nitrite-free, which means less preservative sodium. Add to that half a finely minced onion, a couple cloves of minced garlic, and a pinch of red chili flake. And again, sauté to a golden brown, further developing that flavor. Then add 1 cup of no-fat, no-sodium chicken stock, preferably homemade. In go as much of the greens as the pan will hold. Sprinkle with a scant 2-finger pinch of salt, a few grinds of pepper, and cover to cook. After the first batch have cooked down a bit, add any remaining greens. Adjust the liquid content if necessary with more chicken stock, and cook for no more than about 15 minutes. Then add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar for a little tang. Okay, that's it. Power's off. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Southern-style greens. Look at those. Oh, I can smell the vinegar. I can smell the chicken stock, everything. The bacon. Let's plate this up. Get it ready for supper. Now remember, though there is 1 strip of bacon in here and a little bit of salt and pepper and all that, there's no sugar. The vinegar kind of gives it the tang that we want, and the rest of it comes from the combination of 4 greens: the collard, mustard, turnip, and kale. There we are. It's just about right. That looks lovely. And now, a mess of beans. Just be able to beat that. Look at those. Those are actually navy beans, which are the highest fiber bean going. They are the very top. Now, I've had southern beans, pintos, kidneys, black-eyed peas, but the navy beans work real well, and I like them a lot. There's a little bit more bacon in there, but not a lot for the volume of beans. Use a slotted spoon to start, and they are cooked tender. They soaked overnight and then cooked for at least 2 hours with the sage and the rosemary and everything. In fact, there's a bit of sage right there. I'll probably take that little guy out. And finally, a little bit of this lovely broth. This stuff is golden. And if a little of this bean broth soaks under the greens, that's not a bad thing, you know. And there we have it. Greens and beans, Southern style, or more to the point, food over 50 style. By slow cooking the beans, undercooking the greens, and keeping the bacon fat to an absolute minimum, these classic Southern side dishes are perfectly satisfying and naturally low in calorie thanks to their high fiber content.